Main starting question on this is, are we at the start or the end of this China crackdown on these big successful companies? And will it ultimately hurt China's interests globally and kind of suppress innovation over the long term, or will it help them?
Well, that's a long question. Well, look, the crackdown is about control, and the Chinese government wants these people to be under their control. And actually, directionally, you can understand they were abusing people's data. They were running monopolies. They were not compliant with a lot of regulations. But when China went after them, of course, they overdid things. But it's all about control in China these days, because Xi Jinping is going for an unprecedented third term next year in October and November. He wants nothing to get in that way. And he also wants to remind these billionaires in China that who's your daddy? The party runs everything, and you have to be, your business has to be good for the country and follow what the party wants. And as far as foreign investors are concerned, they don't really care that much. I remember when they were doing their first overseas listings, they convinced Premier Li Peng at the time to do it, because he said you could get money from foreigners and they wouldn't have any control. And they still have that idea. And yes, investors are losing a lot of money, but they know they'll be back. They'll be back when they see an opportunity. It's a very tough calculation by the party.
Well, so I think what you're saying, James, is it makes sense domestically for the government and for China, the way that they run things, to sort of restate some of those key factors. But does it hurt innovation in the long term? I mean, if you do clamp down after people have made money, it must lower the incentives to take those risks in the first place.
Yes and no. I think a lot of these people that have made a lot of money and that have been part of the crackdown are quite unhappy, and they're just they're checking out. However, there's a lot of other people in China that will see an opportunity, and they're used to working around what the government throws at them. They're used to it. So I think it will hurt some innovation, but I wouldn't count China out. They've got how many? They got 1.4 billion people. If a couple 100 million get it right, they're going to move ahead pretty well.
And what about U.S. companies and European companies doing business in China in a way that over the prior couple of decades, it seems pretty clear that many of them doing business there came at a cost of maybe losing some of their IP and things like that. Is it sensible today, if you look at some of the financial firms taking majority stakes in their subsidiaries, is that a sensible thing to be doing, or will they live to regret it like many other companies did in the 90s and noughties when you look back at it?
Well, you have to go into China with both eyes open. You can't be naive and think that you have a residence permit. You've got a visitor's permit, and you can be there doing business as long as China benefits from you. And with this dual circulation economic policy they have now, they want to reduce their dependence on the outside world, meaning export earnings. They want technology. They want supply chains onshore. So if you're a foreign company that can bring in something they need, you're going to have opportunity. There's like two kinds of foreign companies in China today, those that need China and those that China needs. Those that China needs are going to have opportunities. Those that need China are going to be put on notice that they better be pushing back against their governments on anti-China policies in order to maintain their market share. And that's already happening. Opening for the financial services, giving them slivers of the China market, which is a very big amount of money. Still, they want them back at the White House or in Brussels saying, you got to lighten up on China, because you'll mess up my market share, which is what happened for decades.